I am about as far away from being a car enthusiast as it's possible to be. However, I did like the Fast and the Furious movie, and I enjoyed Too Fast, Too Furious, which I did reviews of on this channel, so I thought I'd keep going. I promised I would watch all of these movies. I just got done watching the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, and I would call it a neon-charged train wreck. The movie crashes on every technical and emotional level. This movie was soulless. It was barely a shadow of what the previous two movies were. This movie had no substance. It's a cinematic crime scene, and I'm here to dissect it. I'm here to do an autopsy on this horrible movie. Spoiler warning, I'm going to go full throttle into why I didn't like this movie at all. Let's talk about our protagonist, Shawn. He's as bland can be. He's less of a character and more of a placeholder for a human being. The guy is so boring that he makes plain oatmeal look like fine dining. His southern drawl feels like it was dubbed in by a sound engineer who lost a bet, and his motivations in this movie? Well, apparently he likes to race cars and got into a crash and got sent to Tokyo as a punishment to live with his Navy dad because his mom just didn't want to deal with his shit anymore. The Navy dad guy is barely in the movie. That's the whole setup. That's it. There's no depth, there's no stakes, there's no nothing. He just moves to Tokyo for some reason. Compare that to the Fast and the Furious, where Dom's loyalty to his crew is the core of his character, and the movie actually has characters in it, which helps. Too Fast, Too Furious had Brian and Roman. They had a friendship that was believable. Their motivations seemed real. It was a redemption arc filled with action. Those two movies had heart. Yeah, they were corny, but I liked them. They had heart, they had plots, they had soul. In this movie, Shawn is a drifter, pun intended, with no reason to care about him. We're not given a reason to root for him. It's not that he's unlikable. It's that he's barely there. He's barely a human being. He smiles and looks nice and says a few lines, and then he's in a car. That's basically his entire character. There's not enough there to like or dislike him. It's almost like he's an extra in his own movie. His arc is learning to slide cars sideways because a girl smiled at him, I guess. Sure, the neon-drenched streets of Tokyo look slick, but it's all surface-level eye candy. We get almost nothing of Japanese culture, we get almost nothing of Japanese scenery, we get almost nothing of anything that would make this movie any different whether it was filmed in Utah, Japan, or Idaho. The camera work during the drift scenes is chaotic and choppy, relying too much on quick zooms and shaky handheld shots to obscure the action. Compare that to the first film's iconic drag race, where long takes and steady tracking shots let you feel the speed and you feel the stakes. Tokyo Drift's visuals are like a music video on fast forward, prioritizing flash over clarity. Ironically, all the quick editing made the movie more boring. Chopping up the drifting sequences so you can't appreciate the skill involved was a misstep. In the movie Too Fast, Too Furious, the Miami chase scenes used longer takes to showcase the car's maneuvers, and it showed the scenery. You had a better sense of placement. You could tell where the cars were and what they were doing. There was an orientation to things, where in this movie it's just quick cuts of cars that were hard to follow. Even worse, the narrative pacing was a mess. The first act rushes through Shawn's exile to Tokyo, giving us zero time to establish his character or the stakes, or really giving us a reason to care about him in any way. The second act meanders with montage after montage of Shawn smiling and learning how to drift. And then the third act throws us into a gangster subplot that's as underdeveloped as a Polaroid left in the dark. How's that for a Gen Xer reference? The sound design, weak at best. We get some generic techno-y type music, and then overblown orchestral strings. It's there, but it's forgettable. At least the original movie used some contemporary songs of the day. I thought it really dated the original movie, but at least it gave the original movie character and flair. The music in this sounded like a video game. The sound effects were annoying, the screeching tires, the noise cranked up to 11. You could barely make out any of the dialogue. Not that the dialogue really mattered anyway. The dialogue mix was atrocious. Half of Shawn's lines were muffled. Narratively, and this is the part that really matters to me as a storyteller, narratively, the movie's structure was an absolute dumpster fire. The script feels like it was stitched together from rejected video game cutscenes. When Shawn arrives in Tokyo, he immediately breaks his dad's rules by racing DK, the Drift King, who is a gangster's nephew with the personality of a parking ticket. DK is mad because Shawn talked to his girlfriend or something. So Shawn learns how to drift from Han, the only character with a pulse. Han had a cool snack-obsessed vibe. Han was the heart of the movie, but then they kill him in a fiery crash to give Shawn a paper-thin revenge motivation. Oh man, are you serious? Han's death is so cheap and it's just there for shock value. It's no spoiler to say it's infuriating because the movie doesn't earn it. The Japanese mafia angle, DK's uncle, some vague money laundering scheme, it's so underdeveloped and barely even talked about, it feels like an afterthought. After the first two movies had crime elements, they thought that the third movie needed a crime element, so they sort of stuffed one in here. Let's talk about drifting itself, because as a car novice, I have to say the idea of that seems kind of cool. I'm about as far away from a NASCAR guy as it gets, but the concept of drifting is cool, I guess. Cars sliding through corners with surgical precision is inherently cinematic, and it makes sense in Tokyo, which is a very large city. They can do races in parking garages. That's kind of a neat idea. But the races lack any stakes, and they don't really give us a reason to care about them, other than, hey, they look cool, but why are we watching it? In the previous two movies, we had motivations and characters that had goals and desires. Here we just have Shawn trying to, race cars and not get killed. The movie is left to empty spectacle and nothing more. The technical execution doesn't help, as I already talked about. The computer graphics in some of the scenes is glaringly obvious. The first two films had a lot of practical effects, and you really didn't see much in the way of computer graphics during the action sequences. Tokyo Drift leans into digital shots, and it shows. Climax of the movie is the final nail in the coffin. Shawn challenges DK to a downhill drift race because reasons, and then the mafia guys are there watching because reasons. But the outcome is never in doubt. Shawn wins, DK crashes, the girls swoon, and the Japanese gangster guy just lets him go, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. Then, in a desperate bid for relevance, Dom Toretto shows up for a 30-second cameo at the end, reminding you that better movies exist. He's growling about having known Han, and he challenges Shawn to a race, and then the movie ends, and that's pretty much it. I loved the first two Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, they were dumb, but they had soul. The cinematography in those movies showcased the cars, the scenery, and it all built tension. They were character-focused movies. Too Fast in particular was visually stunning. The stories weren't Shakespeare, but they had clear goals and motivations. Tokyo Drift is just a hollow shell. Shawn is bland, his motivations are non-existent, and the technical execution was garbage. I'm still stoked for the fourth movie, Fast and Furious, because it brings back Dom and Brian. The fact that we got the original characters from the original movie, that alone I think will elevate the film. But we'll see. I will watch that and do a review on this channel. I'm cautiously optimistic that I will like it. Tokyo Drift can rot in a junkyard as far as I'm concerned. This was my first and last time watching this movie. Let me know in the comments what you think. Was I too harsh on this movie or not harsh enough? Which of the Fast movies are your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I promised I would watch all of these movies, and I am a man of my word, so like and subscribe so you don't miss those next videos when they come out. And of course, I'm going to talk about a lot of other movies and shows as well. Until next time, Eric Wilfred Watson signing out.